Hi, Beck,
Hi.
and welcome to the Hayley Osborne Show. I am really glad that you are here. I have the audience would have heard a brief introduction to this episode prior, but I like my guests to say in their own words who they are and what they do.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me, Hayley. Well, my name is Rebekah King, and my business is called Moonbeam Monday Training and Coaching. And essentially, what I do, it's quite simple, is that I help people eliminate anxiety and overwhelm from their life for good. And it's a pretty bold statement. I know how you love a bold statement, and so do I. It is a bold statement, and I do this because it's what I've done in my own life. And I'm not one for helping people manage anxiety and cope with it day to day. I am here to help them eliminate it from their life. So essentially, that's what I do. And the business that I have, Moonbeam Monday Training and Coaching, which some of your listeners might not be aware, is that I have a business partner. And as well as being my business partner, she's my mum.
I
So
love this.
I work with my mum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so
So
good.
her name is Yvonne, and she's also a practitioner, master practitioner, and not coaching at the moment, but focusing on other areas such as writing a book right now.
Nice, nice. You guys are doing a lot. So
We,
to yeah, to peel it back, why did you start your business?
yeah, that's a good question. We decided to start this business together. Actually, it started as something completely different to what we're
That
doing,
is always the way. Always. That's what I say to
which
people.
you've
How you
probably
start
heard
won't
that
be how you
before.
finish. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. We began with a slightly different purpose in mind. But how this particular business came about, Hayley, is it actually started with my mum's diagnosis of cancer just over 3 years ago. And what that did for both of us, as you know, you hear a lot of people say, is that it really puts things into perspective, to coin a cliche, and made us reevaluate, both of us, because I'm very close with her, of course. It made us both reevaluate what we were doing, what we wanted from life, and where we were going. And so I had already been coaching with somebody else. I had already come through a really, really difficult period of my life. But this was essentially that catalyst that booted us into action. And I was working at the time in a 9 to 5 job. I wasn't enjoying it. I didn't have direction. I knew that I wanted more. I just felt very, very stuck. And when I started studying NLP after having a massive transformation in my
And
life,
what does that
uh,
acronym stand for?
yes, I know you don't like acronyms. Thank
Well,
you.
lots of people may not know, as did I not
Yeah,
know what that stood for a couple of years ago. So,
yeah, NLP, and I can explain it a little further in a moment if you like, but NLP stands for neuro-linguistic programming. And I had been introduced to a well-renowned Australian coach who was a neuro-linguistic programming master. And he is the one that I credit for saving my life. I
mm,
don't just mean changing my life, I mean saving my life. And through that experience, I decided to study it myself. And within 5 weeks of beginning that course, I was like, you know what? This is game changing. It is life changing. It is literally life saving. And my ultimate purpose in life is to help people on a very basic level. There is more to
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
But with all of those things coupled together, Mum and I went, do you know what? Let's start a business. You're not happy where you are. You don't want to do what you're doing for the rest of your life. Let's start a business. And so within, I'm going to say, 7 months of doing that, of starting that study, I'd gone all in. I refinanced my house, I quit my job, and we started this business together. And some of the other reasons really were that I wanted flexibility. I love to travel. And so I wanted to build a business also that I was able to I was able to work in my business anywhere at any time and actually be available to anyone in the world.
Mm.
That's the beauty of what I do, is that the coaching that I offer, of course, we do have face-to-face events, but the coaching that I do can actually be done over Zoom online.
Mm.
So that was another big reason that we started the business. And I just wanted to create a business that works for me and the lifestyle that I want.
Yeah, and I love that you took a huge risk because it is so scary to do that. Like we've both been through that, quitting the corporate job and like figuring it out phase. But for those people that are listening that are like, oh my God, I really want to quit my job, but la la la, like there is no like moment in time. There is nothing that's going to signal and come and knock on your door and say, oh, now's your moment. Like you just have to do it and go all in. And the byproduct of that is like your success and where you are now and the business that you've built, which is super awesome. So, my question to you is for those people that are in a similar situation where they are struggling with anxiety, like how did you completely eliminate that from your life?
Yeah, that's a big question, Hayley. And it wasn't just one thing, of course.
Mm,
And I think this is a question I asked myself a lot when I was starting this business and when I was deciding exactly what it was that I wanted to do. Because, of course, as a coach, as I'm sure many of your listeners understand, there are so many different areas that you can help people in. And I, of course, don't just work with people to eliminate anxiety. We do so many more things. But I asked myself that question, and it was a whole lot of different things. So, as I said, I worked with a coach myself. And really, what it was me understanding that anxiety is a symptom. It's not the problem, it's the end product of the problem. And so, what I had to learn was what the root cause of this anxiety was. And there's no way, I think, in a million years that I would have been able to figure that out without help.
mm,
And, if you ask me now, I still probably couldn't tell. There's not one thing that we
yeah.
went, oh, that's the cause. Okay. Because, in our childhood, very, very early on, we start receiving this conditioning. This goes on, of course, for our whole life. We develop beliefs, we develop values, we go through experiences where we experience emotions and we hold on to those emotions. And we're not taught when we're young how to deal with these emotions, how to express them, how to let them go. And so the biggest catalyst for me was working with this coach to be able to identify the root cause of this anxiety and depression. Just as an added bonus, I
Mm.
had depression for more than 20 years as well, and find a way to uh, move forward from it, I guess. And I want to make it clear, I guess, to your audience, I was very skeptical.
Yeah, right. That's a big one.
Yeah, I was the most skeptical person on the planet. And what I learned from that, of course, is when we feel skeptical about something, or when we, what's the other word? I'm trying to think of the other word, cynical. I guess really the underlying cause of that is fear. We're scared of something. We're fearful that it's not going to work out. We ask those questions. What if this doesn't work for me? What if I go through all of this and I still have anxiety? What if I'm more broken than anybody else? All of those questions that I'm sure anybody who's ever felt anxiety, chronic anxiety, has asked themselves. And so I was one of those people. But quite frankly, I was at the end of the line, and I had to make that decision to jump in. I had nothing to lose, essentially. And part of the reason I was so skeptical about it is because I'd been told for years and years by mental health professionals that this was the way that I was, that I just had to learn to cope and manage with anxiety and depression. It was the way that I was wired.
Mm,
And I believed them, Hayley.
mm,
And that was one of the major underlying beliefs that I had to shift in order to be able to see a life without anxiety. That it is actually not true, that we can rewire our brain. We can choose to tell ourselves a different story, but it's not as simple as just, looking in the mirror and telling ourselves things each
Yeah.
morning. We have to actually engage our unconscious mind and change the story.
So do you think that by you finding the right person that was right for you, that was the catalyst? So it's almost like, and this might sound very top line, but it's like we work so hard at getting like 3 quotes for a bathroom reno or to
Yeah.
work with somebody like me in marketing. But then when it comes to your health and well-being, we tend to rest our hands in one person. And that might be usually the go-to is doctors and, like mental health doctors and things like that. And like the system is broken a little bit because they're like employed to prescribe drugs, but that might not be the answer. So like I encourage like everyone to think outside the box. And, if you've tried different things and they're not working, like keep trying and think outside the box, and like working with someone like you would be a huge benefit. So what are you doing right now? Because can we just preface this? So Beck is a private coaching client of mine, and I've been helping her smash it in her marketing. And she's also been in the membership superhero marketing, but you've got some pretty cool stuff happening.
Yeah.
What is that? Please.
Gosh, where do I start with that?
I know.
Yeah,
Let's like
we have
put you in lights.
we have a huge amount happening this year, Hayley. And these are all things that we've been wanting to do for the last couple of years. But I'm human too, and I get stuck on things. And in all honesty, marketing is not my zone of genius, to coin your phrase. And I realized that I needed some help with it. And that's why I came to you. But what we're doing this year, and I'm so excited about it, is that we're not only working with people face to face on some events. We've got a retreat coming up, half-day retreat coming up this weekend. It's a really wonderful opportunity for women, like-minded women, to come together and be in a space to learn how to dissolve that stress that we all feel. It's only early in the year, and already I know there's so many people feeling like they're sinking already. And that's really what we want to do, with this retreat, is just offer an opportunity for people to come together, build that community, because we need connection, right? We are so disconnected these days, even though we're on, every platform possible. And
Funny how
teaching
that
how
works.
to, yeah, teaching people how to dissolve that stress and really reclaim that inner calm that we all have. We just don't often know how to do it. So we're running events like that one. The one
And
that I'm
also that this is when this episode airs, that would have passed. But I encourage people, if they're interested, to jump on your website and see when your next ones are, because you'll be
Yes,
doing a few of these throughout
we
the
will
year.
be running these. Yeah, moving forward. The other thing that I'm hugely excited about this year is our Mind Masters membership. And this is a model that we've been wanting to launch for a long, long time. And it's thanks to you that this is actually going to happen this year, because it's about building this community, right? We can so often feel like we're on our own, like we're the only ones going through this. We're the only ones struggling with the day to day. And so not only is this an opportunity for us to share information, to educate people in live masterclasses on how their brain works, what's actually happening when I'm feeling this way, how do I not feel this way? But it's an opportunity to meet other people who are in this space as a bit of a backup. It's like, I've got you. I understand how you feel. And potentially even this is how I overcame this problem myself. So we're excited to launch that membership program very, very soon. And there's lots of other things in the pipeline as well.
I'm excited for you. I had to laugh the other day. You've been doing amazing on your social media and your
Thank
marketing. But I was laughing because one of the stories that you were telling in a reel was people come to me and they have anxiety and they ask me, should they give up coffee?
Yep,
I want
yep.
you to talk about that because that's probably like if you don't follow back on Instagram or Facebook, like how can we connect with you? What is your Instagram handle?
Yeah, my Instagram handle is simple. It's at Moonbeam Monday.
Yeah.
So one word, no underscores. That's our handle across social media platforms. And our website is moonbeammonday.com.au.
What
But
were
yeah,
you saying about the coffee? I think
yeah,
this is
the
a good
coffee,
one.
it was a good one. There are probably people out there who specialize in anxiety who will say, if you have anxiety, you need to give up the coffee. Now, I'm not a medical doctor. I'll just put that out there. However, I love coffee. I am never going to give up coffee as far as I can see. And it's not something that I'm going to suggest. If it's something that you love, I'm not going to suggest that you give it up. I mean, if you're a 10 cup a day and you're struggling with
Yeah.
anxiety, we're going to talk about that. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to suggest that you perhaps cut back. But coaching and changing your life is not about taking all of the things out of your life that you enjoy, but it's about continuing to do the things that bring you joy and happiness. And I really enjoy my morning cup of coffee. I love the way it tastes. I love the ritual,
Yeah, the
the way it makes the
ritual.
house smell. And
Yeah.
so, that's what I'm going to encourage you to embrace these things, because part of the process for overcoming anxiety is really harnessing that joy that's perhaps missing in your life. And you've got to figure out to begin with what those small things are. So that's where the whole "I'm never going to tell you to give up coffee" thing came from.
It's so good though. That's just like I love these practical examples though that you do give, that because they're so relatable to
Yeah,
people's everyday life, because I feel like the business, that topic that you work under, can be quite like scary for some people
yeah.
to confront themselves with, and to realize that, just with a little bit of like help, that could make a world of difference. And so that's where you come in, which is so beautiful, because more people should be stepping into themselves and who they really are.
Absolutely. And you know what, Hayley? I think it's so much about keeping it simple.
Yeah.
I remember that from my high school days. I remember a teacher using that KISS acronym,
Yeah.
and he was saying, keep it simple, stupid. I prefer to say, keep it simple, sweetheart.
Yeah. Yes.
This is the thing. It's Our lives are complicated enough as
Mm,
it, when we look at changing things in our life, whether it be eliminating anxiety, improving our business, improving relationships, whatever it is, it's going back to basics. A lot of the tools that complement the work that I do with clients are super simple. They've been around for centuries.
mm,
Okay, but it's about learning about what they really are and how they work. So we're not just about talking to you about what you should be doing. I don't like the S word.
mm,
I don't like should. It's not about talking about, "Oh, do this and you'll feel differently." It's, we teach you how it actually works, why it actually works, what it does to your brain, what it does to your body, and how you can use that to your advantage. And you were talking before about the medical profession, health. I don't like using the term healthcare. I'm not sure that it
mm,
is healthcare, but we do go to people because they are experts. But really, Hayley, the onus is on me. Yes, of course,
mm.
experts. The onus is on us individually
Yeah.
to do our own research. We're the ones that know ourselves the best. We need to ask more questions. We need to ask better questions. And that's something that we do in our coaching, Hayley, is that we teach people how to ask better questions that are going to get them to the place they want and need to be.
I love that. And I love that. And I love the practicality of it. and just keeping it real, not overcomplicating, because I don't think it needs to be. I think like
No,
back to basics where people can relate. And I think that you do that beautifully. So,
thank you.
can I ask you about your marketing?
Sure.
You're showing up amazingly. You're doing so much work behind the scenes to move through that. What were your biggest fears around marketing?
Um, I think one of the biggest fears that I had in marketing was that I would pay a lot of money and nothing would change.
Mm,
Quite frankly, it came
yeah.
down to money for me.
Yeah.
And
And this would be a lot of people's fears too.
I'm sure it is. A lot of us have these money stories that,
Yeah.
they're not serving us. And, I'm quite honest with people. I've done a lot of work on myself, and I still work with coaches. Obviously, I'm working with you, you're a marketing coach, but there's still things that I haven't fully sorted myself. And so that was one of the things that I hadn't sorted, was this fear of throwing this money at something and nothing would change. So that was the biggest one, I think.
And how's that going for you?
It's something amazing. We've only been, at the time of recording this, we've only been working as I've only been a private client, I think, for a month. Like, we're
Yeah.
just coming up to our month anniversary. And I would say that I've achieved more in this month than I would have achieved in the 6 months prior.
Yeah. I feel like a
So,
bit of tears coming on.
uh, look, honestly, and this is the power of a coach, right?
Yeah.
Again, no matter what type of coach you're working with, this is the power of a coach. And I love that you're always talking about your zone of genius. So I'm tapping in to your zone of genius so that I can share my zone of genius with people. And this is why it's important that we all recognize and acknowledge those areas in our life where we need help, and even look at it from that perspective as, what's it costing me if I don't get this help? And it was not spending money was on marketing was costing me a lot,
Yeah.
because I wasn't bringing in as many clients as I wanted to.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, all of this has a flow-on effect, and you expect to see, things growing as time moves on. But even that sense of achievement and calm, and that sense of improvement that I have around myself from working with you and another coach at the moment, has had a huge impact on my well-being. I
Yeah.
even had a friend call me yesterday and say, Beck, what are you doing differently? I've noticed a difference in your socials. I've noticed a difference with the messaging. I've noticed a difference with your energy. And I've just had this complete mindset shift in the last couple of months
Yeah.
that is obviously now people are seeing.
Yeah. And it doesn't take 5 minutes. It's a consistency
Hmm,
thing that is required from you before anyone will start to recognize that that is happening. So it's
that's right.
repetition and reinforcement. Yeah.
Absolutely. Consistency with anything is key. That's what I share with my clients as well.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't come to a few coaching sessions, it's like, bang, cool, everything's done and I never have to do this again. It is a lifelong commitment.
Yeah.
And it's hard to begin with. The amount of work that I'm
Oh,
doing on my marketing at the moment is, it's a lot of late nights. I don't
you're
mind
doing a
that.
lot. You're
I'm
doing a
loving what
lot,
I'm doing.
but it is like definitely paying off for you, and like your growth is huge. So can I ask you, let's talk about the membership. So we've got a retreat coming up. There'll be many
Yeah.
more for people to join. They can subscribe to your email list through your website. But when are we going to know more about the membership? So when do doors open? Like, what are those dates so that people can understand and come into your world? I know. I was like, I hope she knows this answer. I'm
Yes,
going to look
we
it up
are.
for you.
No, that's all right. I've got that in the back of my mind. Yeah, there's so many dates happening, so
I
much to remember.
know.
No, so next week people are going to start hearing about the membership, and so they're going to be able to jump on the wait list to get until doors open on the 3rd of April. So we'll be opening the doors to the membership on Wednesday, the 3rd of April. They'll be open for 7 days. And but you can, as I said, you can join the waitlist before then, and there's some real benefits to joining the waitlist because you get lots of extra bonuses when you jump on the waitlist. So yes, people will start hearing about those very, very soon.
That's awesome. I'm really excited for what's to come for you, Rebekah King. Moonbeam Monday. I can't wait. And thank you so much for joining me today. And I'm sure the listeners have benefited immensely. Just tell us again how to find you, your website, and where you hang out the most online so people can have a little stalk and see what you're all about.
Yeah, so I hang out on Instagram quite a bit at Moonbeam Monday, and I'm on Facebook as well. I do love Facebook, so I'm there quite a bit. And then, of course, our website has everything that you need to know about us, moonbeammonday.com.au.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me, Hayley.
Bye.
Bye.